In the heart of Lagos, nestled within an upscale bustling neighborhood, stood the couple's luxurious home like a jewel among the high-rise buildings. Early in their marriage, the couple's laughter filled the mansion as they danced in the kitchen, talked late into the night, and wove the dreams of a future that felt like a fairy tale. They shared quiet evenings on their balcony, overlooking the shimmering city lights, wrapped in each other's arms, discussing travels details. But the husband's career took off. His work demands intensified, stretching days into nights and keeping him away longer. He would come home late, exhausted, glancing at her asleep on the couch, feeling both love and guilt. She would often wait for him, falling asleep by the flickering glow of the TV. Slowly, the laughter faded from their evenings, replaced by the hushed conversations and the quick goodbyes in the morning rush. She then began to attend social events on her own, her bright smile dimming, lost in the memories of their once vibrant love. Then, on a warm afternoon, she ran into an old friend, an ex from her youth who had always held a special place in her memories. He looked different now, more refined. He smiled disarming as he asked her to catch up over a cup of coffee. First, it was just innocent old memories, but the more they met, the more alive she felt. One evening, he invited her to a quiet, candlelight rooftop restaurant with the views of the cityscape. They sat close, talking under the canopy of stars, where he shared stories of his travels. The next day, he suggested an early morning walk along the shoreline, a secluded beach where only the sounds of waves fills the silence. It didn't end there, as at one afternoon, he asked her to go with him visit a vintage bookstore across the town. They browsed through the bookshelves, sharing recommendations and laughing over old favorites, each of them selecting a book for each other to read. Few days later, he suggested to her an early morning workout in the gym. They talk with a level of comfort that feels both familiar and thrilling, laughing at old jokes and sharing stories of their past. Later that day, he takes her on a drive, taking the serene road through a part of the city they both loved in their youthful days. It didn't end there, as one rainy day, they took refuge in a small artsy cafe, one he insists served the best tea in the city. They settled into a cozy corner booth, sharing a delicate dessert and laughing over the rain that taps rhythmically on the windows. Lastly, he remembers her favorite dish and takes her to a small upscale restaurant that serves their dish with a modern twist. Guilt simmered beneath the surface, but the thrill was addictive, and she told herself, anyway, it's harmless. Meanwhile, her husband began to feel the shift. The way her warmth seemed distant, like a marriage he couldn't reach. He noticed her late night messages, the way her eyes glint when she checks her phone. Sleepless nights turned into early mornings, his mind racing as he wondered where they had gone wrong. Driven by desperation, he even skipped work one day to surprise her. But instead, he found himself alone in the grand house that now felt like a hollow shell. Then he heard about her outings from a friend, each story stinging as it pierced together a reality he would try to ignore. Until one evening he followed her discreetly to a vibrant rooftop bar. He felt a blend of anger and heartbreak as he watched the easy affection between them. Was he losing her? He said. This isn't a friendly catch up, is it? He asked, his gaze sharp and his voice steady despite the storm within him. Her ex leaned back, dismissing his presence as if he already won, fueling the husband's anger. That night, after the confrontation, the husband waited for her at home, his face weary, and disappointment ached into every line. In their quiet living room, she finally opened up, spilling her confusion, her emptiness, and the allure of feeling seen once more. He listened, his eyes pained but compassionate, as he silently begged her to stay, to rebuild what they had lost. The ex-allure began to fade, compared to the genuine love she had shared with her husband. She now saw how he has always been there for her. One evening, As they are both in bed, the wife accidentally knocks over a glass of water. Surprised by the absurdity, the husband joins in, both of them laughing in the way they haven't for months. One evening, the husband surprises her by cooking dinner, something he hadn't done since the early days of their marriage, as they hope that their marriage might truly heal. They sit across from each other, sharing nervous smiles and awkward laughters, testing the fragile bond that is slowly growing again. The next morning, the husband suggested a walk through the city park, a place they often visit when they were newlyweds. But her ex-charm turned into venom, and as soon he took his harassment to her workplace, stirring fear and unease. He didn't stop, as one afternoon he showed up at their home, demanding to speak with her, his desperation now a dangerous edge. Her husband intervened, standing firm, his protective presence reassuring her as they called the authorities. The police then arrived, handcuffing the ex, who spat bitter words as he was led away, his plans finally dismantled. They both watched from the doorway, her husband's arm around her, her gratitude for his love overwhelming her heart. In the weeks that followed, they worked to rebuild their trust, each moment a step towards mending the cracks left behind. They attended counseling, talked through the late nights, finding a new depth of connection they hadn't known before. One evening, they found themselves back on their balcony, the city light below a silent witness to their rekindled bond. She leaned her head on his shoulder, knowing now the strength of a love that endured, a love that was built to last. Together, they faced the future, knowing that this time they would cherish the love they nearly lost. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.